So when the inanimate scooges a little too close to human, things get, let's say, uncomfy, strange, creepy. We're gonna do a little test, and I'm gonna show you some pictures, and I want you to tell me how they make you feel. Yeah, a little unsettling, a little creepy. Grab your spelunking gear and let's rappel down and meet the animatronic residents of the Uncanny Valley. Residents. Got it. Hello, my name is Gar, and I'm a mailman to liminals, fictives, and cryptids. And if you like films and you like theme parks, you have probably encountered one of these phenomenal monstrosities that make their home in the deepest, darkest, hydraulic fuel-filled parts of the Uncanny Valley. And today I'm going to go over some of my top picks for the most uncomfortable, creepy, and I mean creepy in a way that's kind of fun. Like, I like it, but I don't like it, and I don't know what the word is for that. Love-hate relationship. Also, I'm going to add some things that aren't fully within the definition of the Uncanny Valley, but it's my video, and I'm going to do what I want to do, so, But let's go. Let's look at some creepy stuff. Come on. Okay, so this first one might be considered a little child's play. Wink. I can't wink, but wink. It's probably one of the first things that caught my eye and more than likely scared my supple, youthful mind, but also made me go, how'd they do that? So without further ado, we have your friend to the end, Chucky. If you aren't familiar, Chucky's a franchise where a notorious serial killer known as Charles Lee Ray escapes the cold hand of death by using some form of magic to transfer his soul into the body of a good guy doll. And also, just a little fun fact, Chucky is named after three famous murderers: Charles Manson, Lee Harvey Oswald, and Ray Romano. No, not Ray Romano, James Earl Ray. God. And the animatronic doll was also created by the very talented Kevin Yagher. It's a beautiful work of art, and it's absolutely horrifying. And one of the cooler things about the animatronic is that the longer Charles Lee Ray's soul is in the doll, the more human it becomes. And that is reflected in the sculpt of Chucky throughout the movie. It changes as it goes from more doll-like to more human. And the storyline being that it is a doll, all of the movements that an animatronic could possibly do just makes sense. It gives the character so much more, let's say, life, and the movements just translate really well into how you would think a doll would move if you saw a doll moving. And for some reason, his hollow blue eyes really remind me of the next animatronic. I'm gonna need you to fasten your drool cups and get your vomit bags ready. We're going to the movies. Frights, camera, action.
Oh, hello, kiddies. Don't mind me if I'm carrying on.
If you're unfamiliar, this animatronic is from the 1989 HBO TV adaptation of the horror anthology Tales from the Crypt, with your host, the Crypt Keeper. Also made by Kevin Yagher, which is probably how the Crypt Keeper got Chucky's beautiful baby blues. Like, actually, I'm not kidding. Kevin Yagher took the eyes out of an old Chucky animatronic and popped them in the skull of the Crypt Keeper. So they're kind of like siblings, I guess, or maybe they're just related. I don't know, probably just related. But there are some major differences with how the Crypt Keeper was performed. He is a lot more organic, and I'm always surprised at how fast the mouth or the lip sync specifically was. It was just really cool. Well, I guess I shouldn't, what was left of his lips? Zombie, so. And if you have never seen it, I highly recommend. Just be careful if you're going to show it to like little kids or something, because the stories can be a little R-rated. And why they're R-rated is interesting. They actually basically shot each episode twice, one with spicier content and the other one that was more kid-friendly. Because at the time, they didn't quite know what audience the story was going to be pushed out to, so they wanted to have options. And Arnold Schwarzenegger directed a episode of it too. A lot of really interesting random people were on Tales from the Crypt. It's just cool. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, we can only talk about this next one if you promise to follow these 2 rules. Don't feed them after midnight, and absolutely under no circumstances do you get them wet. Got it? Obviously, we're talking about the Gremlins. These little mischief makers were made by Charles Wallace. This movie made me wish Mogwai were real. Well, now that I think of it, it's probably Furby, that filled that spot, or Tamagotchi, but I do actually have both. I have to find my Tamagotchi though. I don't know where it is. I wonder if there was ever any like beef between Furby and the Gremlins. I'm gonna go check. Hold on 1 second. There was beef between Furbies and Gremlins, and they were sued, and the creator of the Furby people were sued, and the creator of the Furby was like, yeah, you're right, they're kind of similar, and they paid the studio and tweaked the Furby design. Anyway, Gizmo is our hero animatronic carried around by our lead, Billy, usually in a backpack, and what I find interesting is knowing that anytime he is holding or carrying Gizmo, who is voiced by Howie Mandel, by the way, there's just like a mile of wires coming out of like the backpack, or like they'd hide him in his pants. And just to operate Gizmo, there was probably 8 to 10 puppeteers off screen, or better yet, shoved underneath the set performing the animatronic, bringing it to life. And we're able to make these inanimate things emote and really tell a story and have it be a physical thing an actor can interact with and react to in real time. And the overall design is really whimsical, but still based in reality, so it really blurs those lines. And it fits nicely into the Uncanny Valley. Even though it's not technically human, I think it's really kind of cool. Next, we have Small Soldiers. This is going to unlock some core memories for some of y'all. This film is basically live action Toy Story, but with war. So what happens is some toys were accidentally implanted with a military AI, and the toys known as the Commando Elite are hell bent on destroying these other toys called the Gorgonites. Wow, sorry, that came out weird. And all the Gorgonites want is to be left alone. And the live action puppets were made by Stan Winston Studios, and they are so cool. They had rod puppets that were the actual size of the toys, and I do believe they had some scaled up characters that were cable controlled. If you haven't seen this movie, definitely take a peek, but it does land on the creepy list because they just freak me out a little bit. I do have some more animatronics, but that's going to be coming in a part 2. And if you're liking this video, give me a little thumbs up and subscribe so you know when I post. And let me know in the comments if there's any other animatronics you want me to go over, because I love doing this and making this stuff for you. And subscribing and hitting the like button and blah, blah, blah. It helps me out. And I'm going to keep bringing you some of that spooky, off the beaten path videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.